Hey everybody, it's Offscript, the official after show for the Tamron Hall show. This is so Offscript. I'm actually in hair and makeup getting ready to go on set, but we are looking back at a recent episode that so many of you were talking about. The team is on the line. Hey guys, hey Christian, hey guys.
Hello.
Hi, Tamron.
Hi, you know what? So we are talking about the Tina Knowles episode. So you guys see, this is real Offscript. I'm in hair and makeup. Johnny and Raul here. They're working hard. They're not listening. Are y'all listening?
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit.
Oh, look. Oh, they listen. They listen because we all love Tina Knowles. That was a great interview, Christian. So first of all, shout out to this team. Daytime exclusive with Miss Tina Knowles, her much anticipated book, Matriarch. I do want to tell the audience before you launch in, they always wonder how you get an exclusive. Tina Knowles was on the show and we did a huge beauty bar giveaway with Sacred. Johnny and Tina and Raul teamed up to transform a lucky member of the TAM fam using Sacred products. Immediately after that show, I walked over to her team. I walked over to her and I said, let's go. The book is coming out. Let us be the daytime exclusive. So we worked it. We courted her. You guys did a great job. And then it happened. How did it feel, Christian?
I definitely felt the pressure for this one. I felt reading the book from front to back. I felt like I needed to do right by Miss Tina, and I feel like we really needed to go out there and tell her story. And I think it was wonderful. I think she was great. I felt like she was very open. The set looked gorgeous. I felt like it was a real celebration of who she was.
Let's talk about that set because people don't realize that our set is an LED screen.
Right.
You can turn it into, tell me how y'all changed it up because it was beautiful.
I was really inspired by her book cover, that beautiful gold frame that's on the cover of the book. And I felt if we're going to showcase her life within this hour, then we should have photos. We should have the set reflect that and reflect her legacy. And I thought it really looked gorgeous.
It did. So you guys picked pictures from the book and turned it into frames. Fun fact, I was just on tour with Miss Tina in New Orleans. I did the 1 hour conversation. I surprised her. I had a t-shirt made with the picture of her in that leopard one-piece bodysuit where she was body-eyeing from the book. And I told her that day on set, I said, that picture of you, I'm turning into a t-shirt. And I did. Tell me, how did y'all break it down? Because there's three of you and you got your supervising producer. How did you attack it?
Obviously, step one is to read the book.
It's a good book. It starts out so detailed, right? Because people ask me all the time, do you read every book? I try my best to read every single book. I am but one person. So you guys will read and literally sometimes give me cliff notes and very detailed. So this isn't like a little sentence here and there. These are like full uploading because it's impossible, and I'm just being transparent, for one person to read every single book. So you guys read it first. I've now read it 3 times. But you read it before me.
Yeah. Oh, no. I read the whole thing. I read it within, to be honest, I read it within 2 days.
And this is the first book we had an NDA. I never signed an NDA for a book. Y'all all had to sign it?
I signed the NDA.
For the team?
Yes.
Why is your team so quiet? Why are y'all quiet? You jump in and say something. You don't have an NDA to not talk.
We got a fearless leader leading us. It's honestly the breaking down of the book and the segments and the idea for the pictures and the frames and everything like that. It did really stem from Christian. He came in with it right off the bat. This is what I want to do. I read the book in 2 days. This is what's coming to me. Let's make this happen. And everybody else ran with it. Big shout out to the graphics team for us just spewing the idea at them. And they were like, oh, we can make this. And
this is the first time we've done anything like this.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we have this new set. We have this LED screen set. Why not transform it as much as possible?
Right.
I wanted this show to really stand out compared to like all the others.
Well, I think so. First of all, you guys know, and I've told our audience, I am always a little nervous about memoirs. And the reason is, over my 300 years of being a journalist, I have had people have memoirs and then not want to talk about what's in the memoir, or they will say, I didn't say that. And it's like in the book, because so many memoirs are written with the assistance of a ghostwriter, because you can't do it all. And so sometimes I don't know if the ghostwriter I don't know, but I've had people come back and go, oh, well, no, that's not what I said. I'm like, well, on page 222, yes, you did. So they can sometimes turn uncomfortable when people aren't ready to play. Miss Tina came ready to play. And she came full. Did you guys? She cried almost the whole hour.
Yeah, I was surprised. You could tell she really wrote this book because she knew every detail. Anything you brought up, she knew what you were referencing. And to be honest, I wasn't sure how like the preparation for this would go. Our teams, we all do pre-interviews with our guests prior to the segments. I wasn't even sure.
Who did the pre-interview with her?
I did.
You did. All of you, or just you?
Yeah, we were all on.
So you're all on the call in the pre. So for people who don't know, our guests come on. We have a pretty, solid rule of you can't tell me what to ask, right? Because I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to ask about, things that I quite clearly feel are not okay, right? This is not back in the day. People come on, you just shoot off stuff. And, I think we are much more mindful and recognize the hurt that can happen, when you're not giving people space and grace. So she was ready to bear it all. The cancer diagnosis, huge surprise. Her talking about Matthew Knowles, who, by the way, after our interview popped up in Houston.
Right. He did. Yeah, I felt she was very transparent, even heading into the show. Even just my conversations with her, she was very open and honest.
What was she like behind the scenes, guys? When you guys met her, what happened? Because this is the official after show for the Tamron Hall show. I'm in glam, getting ready to go downstairs to shoot. Who greeted her? All three of you?
Yeah, I started it off, and I just told her what I felt about the book and how I felt inspired to do her story justice. And she was beyond sweet. She was beyond forthgiving. She was very detailed. She was sharing, going in more elaborate into details onto stories that we were talking about in the book.
Did each of you interact with her?
Yeah, I mean, I did myself.
Yeah.
And I will say, just like one of the Angels Warriors had said in that surprise video at the end, she is the epitome of grace.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I thought when I met her. The epitome of grace, beauty, grace. She has it all. It was such a surreal experience.
Yeah.
And to speak to that, Cassie really spearheaded that surprise video for Miss Tina.
Thank you so much for all the opportunities you have given me since the day that I've met you.
And I have to say, and Cassie can speak to this, they were going above and beyond. They really wanted to surprise her.
Yeah, she did not expect that. So the team put together this beautiful montage of young people who have been inspired by Tina, who have found their path through working with her. Thank you, guys. I thought that was a beautiful moment there. So each of you tell me, what was your big takeaway? Because memoirs are supposed to have tape. You're supposed to learn. It's supposed to be like a master class in someone's life. What did you take away?
I think for me, it was just such a joy to get to hear this iconic mom talk about motherhood and also her own personal journey, like playing into that. As a woman and someone who hopes to be a mom one day, like it was really amazing to experience, getting to meet her and interact with her, and having the pleasure of working on this show and really hearing her share her story in such an authentic way, and you getting to have that conversation with her.
Okay, so real talk, how many times did y'all go, this is Beyonce and Solange?
A lot.
You're like, I'm one step closer.
God, that was my biggest takeaway, was the fact that you know the story of Beyonce, you know the story of Solange, you know the story of Tina Knowles post having her kids, but I don't think I knew a lot about her history, her behind the scenes, her own off the script, her, all of the from childhood up until, and even through, and what she's doing now. And that was my biggest takeaway, was getting the privilege and the honor to read, but then talk to her about that.
I love that, because it's true, right? To raise, I think, any child, right? It doesn't matter if your children become the most international famous people in the world. I'm saying you're dropping droplets of you in them. Yes. And so for her to be able to explain her childhood, how funny was that when she said her mom was 45 when she was born, and then I said I was 48. She almost fell off that chair. I call myself a late to the party parent because I had my first child at 48. Wow. You were Miss Tina, really?
You know why? No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, no. What I mean is I'm looking at you and you look not a day over 30.
I love it. Miss Tina's like, what? I love you. I was like, dang. It reminded me, I don't know if you ever seen the Don Cheadle clip with Kevin Hart. Yes. And he says, how old are you? And then Don Cheadle says his age, and Kevin Hart goes, damn!
At the same time, like I said, And me, you know, I'm 56 years old. Damn! I'm sorry.
Yes, she did. She Kevin Harted me. Damn! I was like, oh my God.
That was the first thing I thought of when she did it, and then I went and I watched it back, and I went, "Oh no, this is exactly what that."
Exactly. It was rewind, show the Don Cheadle clip, show the Tamron Hall clip. She literally was like, "Damn!" That was the best ever. That
Fun shade, fun shade.
It was so good. But yeah, I love that. I love that you guys didn't script a bunch of what about Beyonce questions, right? Because you know, I think that, as she said, so much of their journey is their journey. And obviously she's very open, and she wrote a lot more about Beyonce and Solange than a lot of people thought, because some folks thought, oh God, is, you know, you can't touch that layer of their familyhood. But she did. She talked about the therapyism. Because I love that about it. And I think you guys did a great job, because what people don't know, again, this is Offscript, the official after show, the Tamron Hall show. All of our guests get celebrity treatment, not just Tina Knowles, all of our guests. But I would be lying to say that there's not an added amount of weight when somebody who comes in like Tina Knowles, she's got strong PR team. Their job is to protect her. Our job is to get a good interview, because we don't want, you know, folks then say, oh, well, why'd they give her the exclusive? She didn't ask anything. And so that's a big part of it. And I was juggling. This is a true thing. The book wasn't out yet when I did the interview. So I don't want to give away the book, because she's also there to sell books. And I want to be like, on page 99, why I got about the book? So you guys did a phenomenal job with a very big guest, a guest with a very big story, which is why we did the whole full hour. There was no way we were going to be able to do that in 2-3 segments.
I felt writing the script, putting it together, I felt like how even what we did accomplish, how are we going to do this within an hour? Like it was just so much.
It was still hard. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking us behind the scenes, and thank you for not breaking protocol and asking for Beyonce tickets. Or did they?
Next time.
That is it.
Yeah, sure we did it.
After party of the Tamron Hall show. That is our Tina Knowles episode, a powerful episode on our show, season 6. Big memoirs, big guests. Keep coming here. Thanks, guys.